Good morning, and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Rashmita, and I'm the event planner for Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru, India. This session will run over the next 90 minutes, including Q&A. The session is being recorded and will be uploaded to our Reactor YouTube channel. I will share the link to our YouTube channel in the chat section soon. Before we begin, please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We are all here together, so please be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat will be open throughout, and we do encourage you all to participate. Also, please keep your mics muted during the session. I would now like to welcome Swamy, our speaker for today's session. He is an aspirant software architect and currently works at Applied Information Sciences. He loves to learn about new technologies, but for now, I will hand over to Swamy to begin the session. Over to you, Swamy.
Thanks, Rashmita. Hey guys, good morning. Thanks for joining. So in our series, we had we have completed 13 sessions, and this is the 14th one. And this session, we are going to uh, discuss about the secure solution as well as monitoring things. So let me fire up the Visual Studio. Just give me a moment. This is my box, and all the code for this entire uh, series will be here on my uh, GitHub. So please feel free to grab it and give that a shot. That's my GitHub repo, and all the Microsoft series will be here. So from session 10, it is from session 9, it is here in this speaker series 2022. And the previous one, you can find it here. You can go to repos and search for speaker, and it will be in SP in this speaker series 2021. Okay, inside that again, you need to go to that Microsoft Reactor. The previous episodes from 1 to 8 are here, and the 2022 episodes are there in speaker series 2022. Okay, please feel free to grab, and I've given you the links. Okay, so let's quickly go and get kickstart. So here, like, implement secure cloud solutions and support monitoring and logging. So that's the session. And I'm still a learner. Apologize if I do any mistake. And what are we going to do? A lot of things we'll be doing, and it's like a uh, broader topic, and it's like a blanket topic. Like, implement secure solution, like what kind of security can you bring in it? There are a lot of things, and we'll see that what best we can cover in next 1 hour 30 minutes. Okay, let me switch on the clock. So I started it. So please fasten your seatbelt and let's hit the road. So first of all, let's start with the Azure Key Vault. Okay, so let me have quite a few of these so that we can start discussing on that. So why do we need this key vault? That's the first thing we will see, and then we will take it from there. So what options do we have in the Azure Key Vault, and how do we utilize this Key Vault, and all those things we will discuss right now, and then we will take it from there. I need to create one more because that solution is there. Actually, my box was troubling me. Oh, yes, sir. So it's a level of security. Let's see this diagram. So we have Azure Redis Cache and Azure SQL Server. So the credentials of this will be stored here. And anyone who has access to this resource, they might be able to see this Azure SQL's credentials as well as Azure Redis credentials. So one of the way to secure is create a Azure Key Vault and store this secrets here in this, and then reference this Key Vault thing from here. So what will happen is there will be one centralized location. Let's assume we have 10 different applications, and out of that two or three might write into the database, and 6 to 7 they might read it from the database. So if we have to store these credentials, we need to go and do a maintenance job of all those 10 applications, right? So once if you put everything in the key vault and reference the secret, if you refresh the credentials, all you need to do is go and update it in a centralized location. So once you do that, rest of the people will be able to access it because all of them are referring it. So we'll see that in action in a moment. So Azure Key Vault. We'll go to that Azure Key Vault. We'll spend 2 minutes time and we'll uh, start the action. Okay. So what is this Azure Key Vault? So the basic concept. So one of the important thing is when you have to maintain some of the keys. If you some of the companies they definitely have this HSM module, hardware security module, which generates the key, and Azure has its own uh, key management. So we can use it. Some of the companies they know their own rules that they wanted to maintain their own customer generated keys. We can go ahead with that. Okay, so let's spend 1 quick minute on these three things. So what all these? So we can have keys, three different things which we can have. So we can have keys, and we can have secrets, and we can have certificates, right? So we can have these three things we can have it here. So let's start creating it, and then we will see how it works. Okay. So let's start creating that one here. So I'm going to create this key vault. So we- so one of the important thing is this soft delete. So what does this soft delete what does this soft delete help us is that knowingly or unknowingly, if we delete something, knowingly or unknowingly, if we delete something, that will not remove that entry, and it will keep it in a temporary location that will allow us to bring it back. So I will showcase that, and retention period is 90 days. I'll keep it as it is. And access policies. Suppose if you want Azure virtual machines for deployment, we need to enable this. And if you want ARM template, we need to enable this to access it. And Azure disk encryption for volume encryption, we need to enable this one. So as of now, I'm permission model. I'm saying that vault access policy, I'm not enabling any of these things. And let me add this. I'll come back to this purge in a moment. I want to showcase what it is. So that will definitely help us while we do hands-on. Okay, we'll do that. So first, let's creating this one. First, let's understand what does soft delete. What does this soft delete? Let's wait for this deployment. Okay, that deployment is done. Let's come back over here. Okay, here is the key vault. So I come back to this Azure Key Vault. And here, what we can do is we can create the keys. Okay, we can generate and import the keys. Okay, we can generate the keys, whether it is RSA, what is RSA key size, and we can enable that. Okay, if you want rotation, we can rotate the policies. So once we create this key over here, we can use this for the storage encryption or different kinds of encryption. Just for demo, we'll create one key. So I'm just creating this key over here just for demo. We'll come back and we'll see its usage little later. Okay, whatever we are doing right now is just it's just a demo. Okay, uh, secret for demo. Okay, I'm typing in some secret and I just created that. Okay, we created a key, we created a secret, and similarly we can have our own certificate. Okay, so we can have the certificates, we can create our own self-signed certificates, like we can have all those things. But the suggested thing is we need to get the certificate from we can import that certificate or we can generate a certificate. But the suggested method is to have the certificate authority give us a certificate and we can upload the certificate and there will be a centralized location. And one more key important point is the resource group where these key vaults are there will be secure. So except the architects, senior architects, and the leads of operations teams, except them, none of the other folks will have access to this key vault. So anything you store here is secure. Okay, so first thing is, let's see one of the way to go and access this. So this is the way we can go, and that's an identifier. We can go and access this one. Okay, if you want to show the value, you can click on this and you can see the value. Okay, other thing what we can do is we can create a different version, something like a rotation. I'm not some junk I'm giving it. So now what will happen is, now we have the older version as well as the current version. So this is one of the other use case what I was mentioning. Maybe we have rotated the SQL Server's password. So in that case, the previous password will be in the older version and the current password will be this version. So if I go in here and I select this, and if I put it here in the here, if you see that, and let's go back to this secret for demo, and I'll go to this previous version. And you can see that. So each of this identifier, you can see this identifier D2F5, D2F5, and the previous version is that. You can access this key vault that way. Or the other way is just you can put it till here. So that means it goes and brings in the latest version. We are going to use that in 30 minutes or 40 minutes from now. Okay, so that's one point. So what does this soft delete help us? Let's see that I'm coming in here and knowingly or unknowingly I'm deleting this key. Now that's an important key, and without that the application will not work. And the entire team should run from pillar to post to an analysis, root cause analysis, why the application is not working. It was working last night and this morning it's not working. That's because I have deleted the key from the secret key vault. I have deleted a secret from the key vault. Now nothing is working. Now people are running from pillar to post. So having previously what happened is there used to be option for us to enable or disable the soft delete. Now it is mandatory. You don't see that option. If you go and look at the previous videos, recordings or some paid courses, you see that they will switch enable on and off of this secrets, but now that's not there. So see this, if I was able to successfully delete it, and that is coming and staying in this temporary location. And one of the other thing what we observe is the purge protection. Okay, so that we will see that. Okay, that we will see that for the time being. We'll come back here. I will be able to select it and I will be able to purge it. So now there are no traces. I have deleted that as well as I've purged it. So, I mean, that does not mean that I'm free from my crime. Always you can come back and get into the activity logs and you'll definitely get my name that what did I do? I deleted or whatever I did it. So definitely it shows me, but at least for the time being, the entire team is spending sleepless nights. So that's the key reason why do we need to enable purge protection apart from this soft delete. Okay, so let's see that here. See this here. We have a soft delete that's enabled. Okay, now the purge protection is disabled. Now I'll go and I'll enable the purge protection. Enable purge protection. What does this purge protection means? By default, the soft delete is enabled. Okay, so you can't disable that. And now what's happening is the retention period. If anyone deletes anything, that will sit in the temporary location for 90 days. Okay, now I'm enabling this. Now I'm enabling this. Now I'll come back to the secrets and I'm creating. You can't delete me. Okay, uh, I'm creating this. Okay, so I have enabled the soft delete. That means anything I delete that will go and sit in a temporary location for the stipulated time. And we have told that it should be for 90 days. Okay, that's not going to stop me from deleting because we have enabled the soft delete. Even if we delete it, that goes and sits in the temporary location, right? So now what we will do is it takes a couple minutes, but let's wait. It's worth spending this time. In the meanwhile, let's see that. Okay, now see this. Now if I select, that purge button is disabled. So that's one of the other way to secure your uh, keys or secrets, whatever it is. Okay, so even though someone deletes it knowingly, unknowingly, but still that will sit in the temporary location and we will be able to recover. The moment we found that someone has deleted it, we can click on the recover and we'll get back. We'll get back that. It might take 1 or 2 minutes time, but that will not stop us from moving forward. Okay, so we discussed about this, how to set, how to set and retrieve this. We will see this in action in a moment. Okay, let it be there. So see that it recovered. So it's as simple as that. Even if someone deletes it, we can go and recover that. I think now we understood the usage of the soft delete is to park the items which were deleted so that others who can review that and leave it, or they can purge it. Now, if you don't want the deleted items to be purged and it has to be mandatorily sitting in the temporary location for the stipulated time, we need to enable the purge protection. Okay, let's come and quickly go through these couple of other items. how can we use this? How can we use this? Okay, so the resource group. Let's come back to the uh, resource group here. That's my resource group. Okay. Okay, the resource group is there. What else do we need? We need a resource group. We need a key vault name. In location is east US, and we can live with that. Uh, Key vault name. Dollar KV name. Okay, we have this. So let's execute. The resource group is there. The key vault is there. So we can use this this piece of code. So I can use that key vault name, dollar KV name, and okay. So that's one thing, and value is this. So let me come back here and execute this particular command. So that will execute this. Okay. And while we are here, I want to give one more important point, like whatever the cloud shell which you use will be backed up by a file share. Okay. You have to execute inside this cloud shell, you use df. So that's the file system which is backed up for this cloud shell. So you see that whatever is this cloud drive that's mapped to this, the file shell. You can see this file.core.windows.net file share. So that's being mapped to this. This file share has been mounted. So all the files which I save it here is getting backed up there. Okay, that's like a tip. Let's come back to this secrets. You can see that the example password. We can get into that example password and let's go there and show the secret value. So this no password $123. That's what we have given here. Okay, and one more thing is that's the key vault name. That's a key vault name, and I take it from here and okay. So now I want to read it from here. So we now oh, to see this, the value, no password at the rate $123. Okay, that's cool. So we have completed this. Let's come back to this storage encryption. This is a we are covering a lot of points and even other areas are there which we might not be able to cover this, but we will definitely revisit. I'm giving an example of Azure AD, but we will do it in next month or thereafter. There's a session we'll cover that. Now, if you come and see this Azure storage, so by default, Azure storage has this encryption. Okay, by default. Okay, storage, that's called SSE, storage service encryption. Okay, that protects the data at rest. Okay, so you can see this, the entire storage whatever we are creating, that's been encrypted, but it's seamless. When we try to access it, we see the clear text, but when it stores it, it stores it in an encrypted format, but when we ask that, it decrypts and it gives us the information. And by default, it enables the Microsoft managed keys. Okay, so this is infrastructure layer. Also, you can add infrastructure encryption. Also, you can add it, but that's an additional security on top of the default encryption, whatever it is being provided. So for some reason, if the company mandates uh, for some policies, the company's customers ask that you have to maintain your own uh, managed keys, or that kind of rules are there. So what we can do is we can go and select the key, because we already created one of the demo key. If you have a hardware security module, you can create that hardware security module, or one of the easiest way is you can go ahead and create the keys and see this just for demo. We can encrypt the entire storage thing this way. But I'm sure that having having the Microsoft managed keys will be much better than we handling these keys, because uh, it will be on our responsibility to rotate the keys or maintain the security. So until unless there is a policy which mandates that you definitely have to maintain your own customer managed keys, and you are having the hardware security module. So we used to work in banking ATM applications, where we used to have our own hardware security module. So, and that too, it generates two 16 bits numbers, two 16-digit numbers. So one guy will come and he'll punch that number and he'll go, and the other guy will come and he'll punch that number and he'll go. None of these two people know that what is that 16 digits and who they are coming and punching this 16 digits. So you have this hardware security module, you can definitely do that, but I would suggest we can go ahead with this until unless there is a mandate or rules that you need to have that. And another thing about the security is that we can call it, if you see that uh, encryption, whatever is this encryption, that's called as encryption at rest. Okay, so see this, where is that? Where is that? The customer managed keys. Okay, this is like all the data returned to the data center automatically decrypts before it's accessed. It's called like an uh, encryption at rest. That means whenever the data is there, it is then it's totally encrypted. Now we can come to the configuration. So what about secure transfer? You can see that. So while the data is in transit, we already enable this secure transfer until unless you want others to see what data you're transferring, but you have this secure transfer. Okay, and let's go to this containers or blob storage. Let's see that do we have any blobs. Yeah, we do have quite a few blobs. So even though if you see this blob, and let's take this blob path and let's try accessing it. Even though I try to access this blob, that blob will not be accessible. So what we can do is we can generate a SAS token. Okay, we are generating a SAS token. I'm telling that um, now it is 9. Okay, I'm asking that give me the SAS token till 9:40. Now it is 37. I'm telling that give it till 9:40. And also we can have it only from few IP addresses, like you're giving to your customer and you know the IP address of that guy. So I can generate this SAS token. Okay, that's the one. So now I can go here and I can pretty much type this. It's not able to access it. But when I go here, I'm able to download that. But when I come in here, so whenever you are trying to transfer anything, so what you can do is you can go ahead and enable the SAS token, and It's not the blanket thing which we need to do. Just give me a moment. I need to shift. Uh, we can't give it a blanket thing like unlimited access kind of thing, but do it uh, for a 1 hour or half an hour, whatever is uh, applicable for the use case or a business scenario. Like you're giving it to the customer, and customer need to access it within 1 hour or 2 hours. You see that even when the government agencies we generate something, we'll get the URL, and they will say that enable this within 24 hours, or this URL is valid for 2 hours or 4 hours. So we need to ensure that we are doing that. Okay, so that's about uh, this is encryption, and also we have a secure transfer. And the third thing we also discussed about the SAS tokens. Why do we need SAS tokens? Uh, and the SAS token, some of the things we do is we'll also store this SAS token somewhere uh, in the key vault. So, and that is wrapped up by a service, and that service is the one which creates a SAS token, and it reads the SAS token and give it to this. It's like a service to service communication. There is no user interaction. So in that kind of scenario, what you can do is you can create a microservice and put it in between the layers of those applications or different microservices. Each can come and talk to this for lack of better word, I'm calling it a SAS token microservice. So they can product service can come and talk to the SAS tokens microservice. This guy go reads the key vault and get it out. Okay, and I think I've parked about the managed identities. Yes. Oh, I have to update this images. I'll do it little later. I'm sorry for that. We have definitely parked on this one. And what we can, one important point I want to show is how do you access in C Sharp? Azure Key Vault access using C Sharp code. Okay, C Sharp using managed identity. Managed identity. This is very, very, very important. So you can see that the key thing is we have to enable the managed identity, and we need to grant the access. We are going to do that for our application to work, and you can generate the token with this from within the virtual machine, because uh, this is an IP address or the URL where you need to hit it, and it gives a token, and you can pass this token. But there is a piece of code which will be useful. Yep, this one. This is, I think that's the one, or there is some other code also, but the important thing is we will invoke uh, a method to retrieve the token, and from there it is used. What is that method? I forgot. Let me check that, because we are using access token managed identity, get access token for managed identity. So this is the one which we need to call that. So with the default credentials, one of the way we will have is we will call this. It uses the default credentials, and it goes and retrieves the it retrieves this access token. From there on, you will use it. I don't remember where did I read it, but I will give it in the next session to you guys. Okay, that's one thing. Now let's go and start with the SQL Server. I'm parking the Azure AD secure solutions to our future episode, where we will discuss about the AAD and how the applications communicate with each other. Okay. Uh, right. Let me come back over here. There is a SQL Server here. Let's go. Let's go to this bookstore. So first, let's come to this SQL Server. This is called TDE. Transparent data encryption encrypts your database backups logs. Where am I? I'm sorry. Server name. SQL Server. Let's go to this SQL Server. And inside this SQL Server, I can come to this one over here, and you can see that. So the transparent data encryption, this is for the server, guys. So again, you have the same thing. I can go and change the keys, and rest of the stuff is same. But you see this, the transparent data encryption is enabled, and that encrypts your database backups, logs at rest, right? So the other thing, what we can see that is, we can get into the database and come back to the transparent data encryption. You see that the transparent data encryption encrypts your database. The same thing. I mean, at the server level, if you switch it on, that gets percolated to all the child or the databases which are under that server. But I would strongly suggest that we will definitely switch on this encryption all the time, and there is no reason we have to switch it off. Okay, that is all. There's something known as this is like an encryption at rest kind of thing. So there is something known as this one, uh, encryption in transit. Okay, SQL Server databases managed, all these people, they have this SSL at all the times for all the connections. Okay. And another thing is, and again, this we already bring your own keys. We already spoke about this point. And there is something known as dynamic data masking also. So what will happen is when you're seeing the business application, you see the clear text. But the moment you store it to the SQL database, the data will be stored in encrypted. That means even if you use the SQL Server Management Studio or Azure Data Studio or from the browser, at all the places you'll see only this, all the places you only see this encrypted data. Okay, so that's another thing. So let's come back and see what else we do have from the security perspective. So let me open up this, go to the databases. Okay, we'll see here. So now what I'm doing is I'm coming back to my close folder. Cloud native. Let me take this. Just give me a moment. Let it give me the control. Now, okay. This is a simple web API. Let's see this. Okay, how many ways you can connect to a SQL database? We'll see that first. So if you want You can use the query editor here in this database. Let me come in here. I can come into this uh, and I can get into this query editor, and I'll give the password sample at the rate $123, my secret password. And the first level of defense is it will not allow me to access from here because that's totally secure. No one else on this face of earth will be able to connect to this database until unless we personally come in and punch the hole in the firewall for the particular IP address, which I don't suggest. I mean, all the time, if whenever I want to connect it, I will punch the hole in the firewall, but I don't suggest that. Just for my demos, I use that. Okay. The other way what you can connect is you can use SQL Server Management to Studio. That's the second tool you can use it. Okay. The third tool what we can use is the Visual Studio 2022. Okay. I will come in and I click on connect here and I can get into the databases and I can see that bookstore. So this is the third way. And the fourth way to connect is we can come in and we can connect it from the uh, from this connect to this SQL from the Visual Studio Code. And another way to connect is Azure Azure Data Studio. And this is a beautiful tool. I love this both the tools. Uh, SQL Server. It's perfect and it's very good for SQL Server connection. And some of the places this guy is uh, leading in providing the facilities, right? So let me connect. And now one question anyone should ask is that, Swamy, you told that no one on this face of earth should be able to connect it, but you are able to connect it from one of the virtual machine. And this virtual machine, you see this, I did not enable, this is my Microsoft MVP's subscription virtual machine. And that virtual machine is, I didn't enable the public IP. I'm connecting using Azure Bastion. That means you see that I'm using the browser to access my virtual machine. So that's to Azure Bastion. This is one of the good scenarios. Now I'm able to access this from this virtual machine. Now someone can ask that, is it like a churan.com? You told that you'll not be able to access it, but you're able to access now. What is the um, deal here? So that deal is we have added an existing virtual network. This is another level of security. So I'm telling that only the boxes inside this subnet, okay? That means it's a private IP. So I'm giving only the boxes which is in this subnet can access my SQL server. So that is the reason you can see that I was able to access from this virtual machine. But when I try to access it externally, you guys have seen that it's not enabling or it's not allowing me to get into that. That's one level of security. And it's good practice that you don't start punching the hole in the firewall and allow 50% of the world to be in your IP address, whitelisted IP addresses. So the good thing is have a private uh, give access to set of virtual networks or set of IP addresses ranges if you know that that's an authentic and allow them. So that's another security thing which we discuss now. Let me check that what else we have to discuss on SQL Server. Okay, we have covered everything. We have covered um, uh, encryption at rest, and we covered an encryption in transit, and also we covered always on SQL. That's one of the good feature. This one. That's one of the thing. And another important point I would like to touch is the smart detection. Where is that? Is it at this database level? there is a feature, auto thread detection. Auto thread detection. That's auto thread configure advanced thread protection. So that what will happen is, see this, the thread detection, you can enable this one. So that will chase the folks, and it will give an report if someone is trying to attack or do some kind of malicious things. You might be paying a little bit more, but the thing is that you are being covered with quite a few attacks. So I would suggest that if needed based on the business scenario and the data, we need to enable that auto threat detection also. So you can see that configure advanced threat protection. You can go to that advanced threat protection. That's what I could not find it. Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Okay, that's a one. But I know that we need to enable this one. So that's a other security thing which we can enable on the SQL side. So now we have to come and start creating this key vault, right? We do have the key vault. Where is that key vault? Okay, let me open that. Duplicate. Let me come back to this and go to the resource group. And we have our key vault here. So we need to store the credentials. Okay, first we'll do a raw method and then we'll come back. So for that, I definitely need a web app for that. So let's quickly create a web app here in this. I don't have a web app. I'll just create it in a minute. It's not going to take much of the time. So let's go ahead and create a web app. That's okay. App books store 001. Okay, that's cool. And I'm telling that runtime stack is 6. And I don't want to experiment on the live. I will use that, and then I can use that. I can use this plan. But anyways, I'll use the same plan because it has got, oh, no, let me create my own plan. I'll use this bookstore plan separate. Let me go to dev test, and I use 60 minutes should be good enough for me. And in the deployment, I'm not doing any CI/CD continuous deployment. I'm not doing anything, and networking also I'm ignoring. And monitoring, I would love to push it to the existing one. It's this one, I'm sure. Right, now the review and create it. Let's do review and create. So now from now onwards, for the next 30-40 minutes, what we will do is we will juggle between the monitoring stuff and the secure solutions. It's like a mix and match. Let's see that. That's being deployed. Okay, so the first thing what we will do is we'll come back to the database. Let's come back to that. That's the SQL Server. Let me come back to that bookstore and go to the connection string, and I'll copy the connection string. Now come back to this. I think I will close this so that I'll get some extra space. Now let's come here to this books API, and let me check that, what it is. It's connecting to my this thing. local. So for the time being, we'll check. No need to check. Let's face the problems. We don't have that much time to check all these things. So we will right mouse click on that and go and publish it. And I think we have already seen this many times, but I would like to do a quick thing. When I go here and access this website, it will have that hosting.html. And I think we already discussed that where can we find that hosting. We can get into that console or advanced or app service editor. You will see that hosting start.html is the one which is coming in here. So let's go and have a new target. I want to publish it to this one and app service windows. Yeah. So here is our app service, the bookstore. I click on next. API management, let's skip it for this, for the time being. Next episode is that. Publish. Let's do that publish. And publish. Let it publish. You can come and watch this publishing activity here. You can select that publish. Where's that? Oh, it came back to the output window. You can watch this. You can watch it here. They themselves are suggesting go and watch here in this output. Or alternatively, you can come and check it from here. Okay, there are two places where you can view it, but Microsoft itself is suggesting go and check it out here. Okay, it says that site is up and running. So I'll come in here and now I browse that. So we will learn some of the debugging techniques now. Right. So app service, just give me a moment. I'll have a glass of water. Application logging. That's good enough for us. Verbose. Split everything. Okay. We'll come back over here. We enabled it. And we're trying to access that hosting start is gone. So we're not able to access that. So let's try this. API slash v1 slash books. That's gone. So application logs, it will start. Should show that. Let's wait. Else we'll go. We don't have that much time. We have less time. Okay. Come on. Application logs. Never mind. Let's not waste our time. We'll go to this app service editor because the connection strings, how many ways we can do it, we'll see that. So from unsecured to secure, that's the journey we are going to take in next 10 minutes. So if you come and see this application insights, one of the things is this live metrics. Okay, so that's going to start making some calls so that we can track that. See that? There's a request came. Oops, what's that? Ah, it's Books API. Was it a V1 or Oh, API controller. I'm sorry, it's my mistake. So there is no V1. So see this. Now it's making a call, and we'll come and we'll see that a lot of Azure functions thing which is coming in, and see this as and when I hit something, that request you can track it live. I can come in here and you can see that as and when I do, see I hit this, it's coming in. And the failure rate also you can see that it's pretty much high, and failures you can come and see what all the failures are there. Now I'm doing a juggling between these two worlds. So see that this is gone. And I think the API slash books, it didn't come, but that request, it will come pretty soon. So you can keep a track of this. Let's come back to our business. It's not able to connect. So I can go back here and do a log stream because I was hitting the 404 or the endpoint which doesn't exist. That might be the reason it didn't flush that. The application logs. Oh, what is that? It didn't flush. We'll see that. It will flush that. So another thing what we can do is we'll come and we'll check that it is having this local address. So that's the problem. So what we can do is, where is the SQL server? I copy this and I'll come back and use it here, and I'll change the password. There'll be a lot. I will take you through the journey, a painful journey where we will face the problems and then come back and search for solution. Okay. I wantedly create these problems, folks. Okay, that is saved. Okay, that's saved. And now what we will do is we'll go and access this. Okay, what happened? You see this? Now it started flushing in the logs here. You can see that 204. That means, is it giving the content? We'll see that. Okay, I think it's bringing the things up. Now that we changed the app configuration, let me do, just to avoid chase, I'm just stopping and starting this. I'll start that. Just to avoid, because I didn't change it from the app configuration. I changed it from directly from the source files, whereas it's in the app service editor. That's the reason I'm little uh, scared to waste the time. So I'm hitting this. So that guy is applying this configuration and it's starting it. So middleware and invoker, you see that MVC action result has come, and see that we are seeing that error. So what it is saying is, right now, it says that it's not able to make a connection from this IP address. Now, the next obvious question someone should ask that, hey, what is this IP address? Where is this coming from? That's good question. You can come to the properties. It's 0.9. So the outbound IP address, you can see this outbound IP address is this one. So 20.119.0.1. So this is the outbound IP address of this this website. So now I'll come back to this SQL Server. There are other methods people will handle it, but this is I'm showing some of the ways which I do it. I need to take up this. So that's the web API. I will go and save that. Okay. So now I come in Now I'm seeing this data. Okay. So now coming back to uh, uh, okay. So now what's happening is we're able to access. But do you think that storing these credentials here in the app settings.json is secure? It's not. So what other options do we have? So let's go and try that. Okay. So what I will do is okay, that's the one we brought it to the previous state. This was the thing which is there. So, right. So let's leave it there. Now come back to the configuration here. So even if someone the gets into the source code, they will not be able to see that. Now the next step or the progress here is we are going to have this in the app configuration. How? That should be in an hierarchical. So data store settings colon SQL server connection string. So it should be like that. So I will go ahead and start creating a new application configuration. It should be everything will happen through release pipeline. It should be double underscore. I'm storing this. Okay. While this is restarting, I will spend some time on this. One of the good thing I love about this application Insight is it has got the application map. See that how beautiful we have created a web API and we were able to hit the SQL server. So this guy is giving us an application map. Hey, this is how it is going on. See that? It gives a beautiful map, application map it shows, and we have seen the live metrics. I'll come back to this other places what we can do because we are juggling between these two. The SQL, and we saw that in the app service editor, we removed it. We removed the connection string. We removed the connection string. So we have punched the hole in the firewall with the outbound IP of the web application. So tomorrow, if that web application where it is hosted on this 119.0.1 to some other host, again, we have to change it. Uh, okay, for that, uh, one of the other thing what generally people might use it is connections from IP specified below provide access to all of the databases in the SQL Server. So I can click on that, allow Azure services and resource to access this. Like this is like a blanket approval, all the IPs, anyone having it. So I don't want that. So I'm doing, but it will be VNet in VNet. We need to add it to VNet integration and allow that here. So that will be a secure manner. But just for the demo, I'm doing this. So now again, we'll come back and we'll click on this and come and check the log stream. It should start. Uh, should start doing that. Okay, this all the things are coming in from two MS modules, MS Learn modules. I'll give you the those modules in a minute. So this now we are able to access that, and you can come and see that we are able to access see this get all books. The request has come. Okay, so we have made little bit progress. So from app settings to configuration, right? So we have come a little bit of progress. Right. So now what I will do is, what was the uh, connection string is this one. Okay, you can do an advanced edit and you can see that all these connection strings, whatever is here, and you can see that double underscore. So I think I have already shown this double underscore stuff, but you can do a research of this double underscore. See that. So it's given in this double underscore. So wherever you use this separator, it doesn't work. So use double underscore. That being said, we'll come back to this one and go to the key vault and let's create a secret. I'm calling it as a secret SQL Server connection string, and I'm storing the password here. And I did a create. And after doing that, what I need to do is I need to come here and come in and copy this. Come back. Now it will not work. I'm telling you upfront, whatever we are doing, it will not work. There is something else we need to do. We'll come back to that one. Copy this and I'll put it here. So how are we? That's the key vault reference. To that particular version, we are using it. The connection string, the secure URI, you need to give it this one. Or did I miss something? Secrets. How come? Oh, it went above. Right. Okay. So now what we will do is we'll come back here and instead of, because this is same, isn't it? If I store the credentials in the app settings file or store it in the configuration file, anyone can come and see this here. It's a clear text. So I remove that clear text and I give the reference to the key vault. So as I was mentioning, very few people, only 2 or 4 people will have an access to the key vault because that's like a keys of the kingdom. People will not give you access to that. So you see the difference here. It says app service config. Now that changes into key vault reference. Okay. Now see this. It says that key vault reference. It identified that's a key vault reference, but it is unable to read that because we didn't give it permission. So what we have to do is we need to come in here and enable this identity. So there are two types of identity. One is the managed identity and one is the user identity. So that's system assigned identity. So the user identity is the one which we create with the service principal, and it is our duty to do a rotation and all those things. And that is an independent, like you create a service principal, you use it in 10 applications, but whatever the system assigned or a managed identity we create, that is very specific to apps, app bookstore 001. If I delete app bookstore 001, that means this identity is also deleted. So it don't lie as an orphan somewhere in the Azure AD. So that's hooked up to a particular service. So when you nuke the service, the system assigned or a managed identity will get nuked. And this will be used to do a RBAC, like provision. Okay, if this application is coming, what you need to do that. So that's what we'll see that now. I copy this and go back to the key vault and come to this access policies and only I have this access policy. Now I'll come in here and I'll using a name service principal, but technically it's like system assigned or a user assigned. We are using the managed identity. So that's the one. I select it and I click on select. And what I want that guy to get and list. Okay, I'm not going to set from that. I click on add and save. Now, this managed identity have access to the key vault. That means we are allowing the controlled fashion, we are allowing it. And now I'll come back to this one and go to the configuration. It might work or I need to do a start and stop just in the interest of time. I do refresh. Okay, in the interest of time, I'm not. I do a quick restart. The next step is stop and start. God. Come on, come on. Let's try this. Is it? I think I need to stop and start. Let's see the logs. Let's see the log stream. It will tell if it is unable to access the key vault. If it's unable to access that, it should tell us that. Oh, it's working. So I think then it's an issue to refresh. I mean, the icon change. That's what I'm thinking. It should change the icon from red to green. I think that's an issue. But see this, we are able to access it. Okay, now you see that. The keyword reference. It took a few seconds, but you see that. So that's other level of security, managed identity. So we saw that. And now coming back to this application insights. And you see that. So one of the thing is very important is this key vault. So it's dropping it here. So let's quickly create one small, it's my very old this thing. Let's create a small Azure function to showcase. Let me go to, where is that Azure function? Func3. Let me go to Func3. Okay. What is this doing is every 1 minute, it is dropping a message to a Azure storage queue. See that maybe 20, 30 messages are there, definitely. So it started at 8:53, just before the session, and all the way till, what, it stopped? Oh, only 32 messages are displayed. Okay, there are some messages which is already there. Let me go to this Azure function. That's the timer. So every time, every 1 minute, it is dropping a message. I'm creating another one because someone has to consume these messages. I'm creating another function. That function is read from Azure Storage Queue. That should have in direction the queue triggered. That should be a queue triggered, and the queue name is this. Azure Queue Storage Trigger. I hope that's the one. And what is the name? I name is this one. And this is coming from our session 7 and 8. Very old. Okay, what is the queue name? Queue name is this. Right? I think all is well. We put it here, and now let's go to the dev test. And first, let's do the integration fast. In this integration, we'll see that the integration is the queue name. I mean, the name, I didn't change it. You see that if you come and see here, that's queue name is my queue item, and the type is queue triggered. Direction is inbound, and the queue name is this one, and we have that. That's pretty cool. So we need to add an outbound. So I'm adding an outbound, and in the outbound is blob, Azure Blob Storage, and every new item should have a new GUID, right? So here I'm telling that ASQ, Azure Storage Queue, out container, and RAND GUID. So that means it creates that. So let me come to this. I mean, I need to do little fast. If not, all the messages will be wiped off. I need to come in here, and I'm telling that any message which is coming in, Come on, any messages which is coming in, store it in the blob storage. So first let's see that. Did it read every message? See that all 30, 40 messages are gone within a second. I should have done little fast. Sorry for that. But still, all the new messages which are coming in here. So we can come and see that all the new messages which are coming in here are getting picked up. Every 1 minute it gets a new message. We can check it over here. And additionally, we can keep a watch on the live metrics, and we can see over here. Come on, come on. I can hit this and come and check this one here. There is a bump, and you see that that's the getbooks API call. And let's give it a minute. So see that read from Azure storage. That means someone wrote it. So you can come and check this get all books here. You can click on that. You can select this trace to go and do a deep dive into that. Let's come to this transaction search. I don't want, just give me last 30 minutes. Okay, there are 143 requests, and here you can see this. Let me go to this request. This is the latest Azure function which we deployed. So you can see that view telemetry, and you can see what happened. This app service plan was hit, and this was a function, and it went and wrote it to the blob storage. So we can see this one here. And here also you can do a show all, and you can dig deeper. So it gives pretty much in-depth data for you to go and investigate. And somewhere it gives you an IP address from where we are hitting it. So let's come back to this one. So you can see this availability, and it will give you a overall health of the API endpoints which is being hit. It's taking a little time, but that doesn't see that every 1 minute it's happening. But let's go to another thing is Azure Monitor. That's a big ocean, folks, but I'll just give a high level touch up on this one. What we can do is the logs which are getting the data which is getting into this can be will be divided into metrics as well as logs. So metrics is like a time bound, 20 seconds or 30 seconds, whatever it is taking. And let's I mean I'm a little scared to touch upon that also because it's a big thing. It's a big thing. So I want to select that and I want to apply. So you can no logs are configured. So let's see that one. So we can trace all those things, or we can see it from here. See that? This is the one. So it's pretty much giving us a lot of information. Like we can get deep into the weeds to find out what is happening. We can come to this key vaults. Most probably it should show the key vault which is available here. So see that the 24 requests which failed when the we didn't enable this managed identity and give the access to that. So at the time it was blowing off, and you can get deep into the weeds to see this get secret was the guy who was failing for 14 times, and we can get a lot of information from this, folks, and get into this logs, and we can do a query of that. Let's see, select a scope. I want to select TV. Let me select this and apply. I was not able to select it. One second. Maybe I didn't enable that. Okay. I have to uh, enable that. So I delete that. I enable this. And okay, I missed that setting to configure. Oh, I need to enable that first. Um, for this storage account, I need to enable what I want to. This is disabled, isn't it? I need to enable this from here. I need to enable the diagnostic settings. So from that, it will start pushing in all these logs at a centralized location. So here in this monitor, you can see that you can do an insights on virtual machine storage account and Azure Kubernetes AKS clusters and the network watches and SQL is in preview. And you saw that the benefits of Azure Key Vault and also in the storage account, it gives us a clear, beautiful thing. We can filter it out. What is the one which we want to specifically focus? I can select one out of that and I can do a detailed in-depth analysis on that, what is happening and who is reading. And this gives us a pretty good insights like key vault. I can come and check that this one key vault it is there and I can get into detail. Oh, okay, someone is trying to read this and this is like a red flag for us without even suppose without even our uh, intention or we gave the permission someone is trying to access, that's like a red flag for us. We need to go and find out like who is accessing, why is accessing. Okay. And the failure rates it gives you, and application map is one of my favorite thing. You can see that this wasn't there, the blob storage. Now when we enable this, the new Azure function, and it gives you the failure rates also, that how many percent of the calls were failed. And it gives a lot of in-depth analysis of this. And live metrics is the one which we have seen that when you are doing an integration, this really helps. Like you and your another team who are partnering and they're using your API and saying that they are unable to access it, then we can come in here and quickly do that. And transaction search is like you can go and do a detailed analysis of that. Like if you see that read from, if I can do search of that, or like API slash books. I can do a specific search. It says that see all this request path, whatever is the request path. Based on those request paths, we can go and do a search, and it gives a dependency graph. And you see this failure rates. We can see that Win32 exception or how many SQL exceptions has happened, and it is giving you a breakup of that. And the performance is the one which it says the overall health, like how many times and what is that number of seconds or milliseconds it's taking. It gives a pretty decent amount of this thing. And there are a lot of other things are there which is like fun, like what is the user journey this guy is taking, is he coming back, or how many sessions are connected, are they using Chrome browser or what browsers it is, and is he coming back to the same shopping cart, or he spends 2 hours of time and he'll say Tata goodbye and he don't buy anything and call off, or those kind of things. It's a, let's see to cover at least few of these things in a few of these things in the future episodes. But I think we can call it uh, now. Okay. So anyone has got any queries? Anyone? Hello. Uh, Santa Kumar or Manish, Vic, Gaurav Jain, Balaji Chandrasekhar, Rajesh A, Lena. Do you guys have any queries? Hope you guys have no queries, Santa Kumar. Okay, cool. So hope you guys have learned something new today. You can, if you have any feedback, uh, positive or negative, please feel free to post it there. That will help me in refining and fine tuning the content. Please feel free to do that.
We will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so hope you guys have learned something new today. Cool. Thanks, Balaji. Thanks, Rajesh. So the next session will be in fortnight from now, and also there is a new series which we are going to start, uh, and that will be on architectural series, how to create an entire e-commerce solution with microservices, Docker, Kubernetes, Prometheus, Grafana, Kibana, whatnot. A lot of things. I should have told when in between when I'm doing the session, but anyways, we have 4 more sessions to wind up this AZ-204 series, and then I'm going to start on that architectural series. It's coming around 15 to 20 microservices. So we might start with very low, but eventually it's a pretty long journey. We'll see how can we do that. So I already started working in the background. It takes 2 to 3 months for me to bring the source code out, and that's it. So if you have anything else, please feel free to ping your queries here or feedback. I'll be more than happy to go through it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Swamy, for the session, and thank you all for joining us today. Please do share your feedback about today's session, and also please feel free to use the Learn module link shared in the chat section, and also I'm displaying it right now. This will give you access to additional resources to take your learning further. Also, please visit our Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru meetup page for more upcoming session. The next session for Swamy is on 11th May. So please do come and learn along with Swamy. Thank you all once again and enjoy the rest of your day.
Balaji, hello. Balaji.